I said it on stage today, the one thing that you want when you have all the money in the world is your health, when you realize you don't have your health. And if I could give up everything that I have and then have to start all over again, but be on a clear bill of health without any thought that would cross my mind, the answer of course would be yes. And so it's super important that people get their money right. It's super important people understand how it works. It's important people don't take advice from bad people or, quite frankly, our governments, or rely on our governments for things like that. And I'm grateful that I made a lot of mistakes really young. I started trying to figure out money really young because it put me on this path that I am on now. But yeah, I just want everybody to understand money more so that they can actually have the life that they deserve.
People get so paralyzed in fear because they don't want to upset the other person.
Let's say someone's out there listening to us right now, and they have their third or fourth location of something, or they've got that 4 million or 12 million or 20 million in revenue, whatever that number is, and they're thinking, you know what, I do want to sell. What should they be thinking about to prepare themselves to package themselves up in order to be able to have a successful exit?
In order to achieve a full exit, you have to develop a sophisticated business that does not need you to operate.
Right.
And so that's leadership team. It's really people. The primary thing is people. It's a leadership team, and then it's totally professionalizing the business.
I said it on stage today, the one thing that you want when you have all the money in the world is your health, when you realize you don't have your health. And if I could give up everything that I have and then have to start all over again, but be on a clear bill of health without any thought that would cross my mind, the answer of course would be yes. And so it's super important that people get their money right. It's super important people understand how it works. It's important people don't take advice from bad people or, quite frankly, our governments, or rely on our governments for things like that. And I'm grateful that I made a lot of mistakes really young. I started trying to figure out money really young because it put me on this path that I am on now. But yeah, I just want everybody to understand money more so that they can actually have the life that they deserve. It is important.
I want you to mess out your life. I want you to mess out your business. See, when you were born, the doctors let you on that to make sure you're okay, didn't you? Right? I doubt you when they handed it every month and you say, hey, this is one of the average ones. Congratulations. See, you are made to do something great with your life, and you've always known that there has always been this little voice in your head. You've always known there is something special about you. You aren't born to be average. You are born to do something great. It's by no mistake that you've always having also those talk that they slapped you on the axe. A race started in your life, and there is a race that started the first day when you were born to the last day of your life, and that race is to finally reach the ultimate version of you. And since that day started in your life, the people around you are trying to get you conform to average. Every single day has to be a pursuit to get better, bigger, to grow, because you're ultimately chasing the destiny version of you.
I've determined it's all mindset, but money is all mindset. Really, it's how big can you make it, and that's your income, that's your investments, that's your businesses, that's everything. There's a ceiling that you'll build it to, and it's based off of what you think your mind can do. So if I'm trying to sell you something and I think it's expensive, I'm never going to sell it. And in network marketing especially, it's like we have products or services that don't cost that much money, and then you're trying to convince people. It is a convincing thing. I never really wanted to convince people. I just thought to myself, I'm just going to tell people this is what they need.
Right.
And I had this mindset like, no, you need it. You need this. You need this. You need this. We're going places. And I think most people, they'll get that $50 a month, $100 a month, maybe $500 a month. And it's they go to that one circle of people they know, and that's all they're going to talk to. Everyone in business does this. It's like, let me talk to just my friends. Well, your friends are not going to make you millionaires.
Right.
And so they don't want to get out of their comfort zone, and they don't want to push forward. And I was just always a person who's like, all right, so day one, this is a totally true story. I just kind of always looked at it like that. I think a lot of people, their mindset is just not where it needs to be. And also they don't take it seriously. They let other people's opinions of, oh, it's not a real thing. It's not a real profession. This is not a real business. It gets in their heads and it screws with them. And I was like, well, you might not think it's real, but this guy over here has made $100 million and he's 50 years old doing something. So I think the problem is people's mindsets are just so small and so limited. Like if we're talking about making money, like money matter, or making money impact lives, or having extra money, if you're making an extra $500 a month,
Right.
and you're not quitting your job, okay, that's $6,000 a year.
Right.
this is a lot of money.
For sure.
No, you missed like the entire point.
Right.
You can do both, and I think that's the great thing of any of these side hustles. It doesn't have to be network marketing. Could be affiliate marketing. Could be just the gig economy in
E-commerce,
general.
whatever, yeah.
E-com. You could be driving Uber. I don't really care. But take that as a side hustle and then turn that into something big. And a lot of people just won't do that, and it's crazy. But just pick something that's actually going to excite you, because ultimately you might stick with something and make some money for even 5-10 years, but you're not going to stay forever in something that's driving you crazy and you don't want to be around.
Yeah, fit, you're in the gym, you're eating right, etc. Why should people really consider investing more into themselves?
So this isn't everything. It's not even just a health thing. I actually think that's the first investment. So people used to ask me, they'd say, I have an extra $10,000. What should I invest in? And I don't tell them a business. Right. I don't tell them the stock market. I don't tell them crypto. I don't tell them any of these things. No, you don't need to go buy a single family anything. Like, no, you don't. What you need to do is you need to invest in yourself. You need to go to events. You need to buy some masterminds. You need to go to some masterminds. You need to buy some courses. You need to find something that you want to do and learn. Because
So when people start to progress in their business career, some people start to make money and quickly start to have really big overheads and go broke. We watched it happen with athletes. It happen with a lot of people and entrepreneurs, that they start to make really good money and they think it's gonna last forever. What would you say to someone that starts to make money? They're making 10 grand a month and now 20 grand, 30 grand. Something happens and they made 6 figures. What would you say to someone so that they don't go broke?
Okay, get advice from good people, first of all. And you probably don't need everything people think you need. I like running a very lean business, and I like knowing where the money's actually going. And too many people go, well, they told me I needed a COO. They told me I needed this. They told me. Who is they?
Who's they?
And why are you taking advice from a bunch of people? What do their businesses look like? Does it look exactly like yours? If things are not bringing in money, after you've tested them for enough period of time, 3 months, 6 months, whatever you want to do, stop. I mean, if you have money, you can have power, period. But if you have no money, well, you can have no power.
When I say the sentence, money is the root of all evil, what do you think?
I think that money is the root of all evil if you're evil. And if you're not, you're not. Money doesn't change people. It'll elevate who you are. I know you're super philanthropic. I'm assuming you are too, or he wouldn't hang out with you. You know that I am. It's like, me becoming richer and richer and richer and richer and richer than being like, ooh, I'm wealthy, right? Did not change me as a person. If anything, like I said, kindness is my core value. Well, now I just get to give more.
Right.
Now I get to contribute to people and places and things and causes that excite me, that make me feel, wow, you get to change the world. And a lot of it is just, and I know it's actually selfish, right? But it feels so good to give. And you don't know unless you do. And if you don't have anything to give, then like,
Your time and energy.
yeah. So, I wish more people didn't think that, but I think the interesting thing about money is we all have the same money stories from our childhood. If I were to ask people that are listening to this, I'd say, hey, money doesn't grow on
Trees.
Success always come down to one thing. How bad do you want it? Because in life there are hidden blessing in every struggle. Be somebody who is very difficult to replace. Knowledge will give you power, but character will give you respect. Yeah, I'm open-minded, but that doesn't mean I'm characterless, right? So thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. So writing your own goal and also your own story throughout an act of self-love will give you the bravest thing you will ever do.
They say that the rich get richer. The rich get richer not because of anything except for knowledge is the true power. And when you are rich and your friends are rich, you talk and you have different conversations. So if I needed financial advice, I could say, Dan, what are you doing with this right now? What coin do you see is doing whatever? Or, hey, what are you looking to invest in right now? Where are you putting your money? What's safe for you? Are you doing any offshore? What's going on? And I can have a real conversation. Well, that's powerful. Then I invest differently. Then I move differently. But if you have a bunch of low-level friends who are worried about how they're going to keep their electricity on, and you're taking financial advice, God forbid, from them, which they are, by the way.
Sure.
My aunt said, you don't do da-da-da-da-da. Oh, okay, well, I'm never going to do that. Because God forbid, your aunt. Who is your aunt? Where does she live? What is she living like? And so I would just, don't take financial advice from people you wouldn't trade bank accounts with. Don't take love advice from people you wouldn't want to trade relationships with. Don't take friendship advice from people with no damn friends. It's like, it just seems like common sense, but for some reason with money, it's just not. It's just not. So you don't have to have the money, but can you gather the community? Can you find a project that will serve your town? And it starts really small. It starts in your town, and then it goes to your city, and then it goes to your state, and then it goes to the world. Like a lot of your things have spread now worldwide, just because you started with an idea.
Right.
It is easier for us. Like, we have this false reality in our minds that it's going to be harder for us to make money, or harder for us to get on stages, or harder for us to have a seat at the table. The seats are there. We just tend to not sit in them. I just sit in them. That's the difference. I'm like, oh, hi, I'm Jesse Lee. Like,
you bring your own chair.
what's going on? Yeah, like, can I pull a seat up or something like that? Just make yourself be known, and you don't have to be anything except for yourself. But there's so much opportunity, and quite frankly, I think it becomes way more powerful when you are in that room and there are a lot of men, because you stand out.
Right.
It's a huge opportunity.
Don't burn your opportunity for a temporary comfort. Sometimes it will take you 10 years to get that 1 year that will change your life. Some people talk about other people's life, while some create a life others talk about. You can't hang around with unambitious people, because time is more valuable than capital. Time you set aside not to be eaten, not to be wasted, not to be given away. Time you set aside to be invested with an enterprise, and also investing also in yourself.
First of all, stop looking at what you're looking at. So with the chaos and the craziness, it's like you get to choose what you unfollow. You get to choose what pages you do follow. You get to choose who you let talk to you. If you will continue to watch the news and read the whatever and get the daily digest of people shooting people everywhere and blowing people up and everyone hates everyone and this country's terrible and this religion's awful and whatever, you're going to be full of hate. Right. You're going to be full of anger. And that is not where money flows, to be totally honest, because we're having a money conversation here. And so just turn all that off, and you get to control your own economy. It's like when people get all excited about politicians and about elections, I go, why do you care so much? At the end of the day, that person is not your economy. Your economy is your economy. Get your money right. You learn the skill sets. If you're worried about a recession, if you're worried about everything falling apart, if you're worried about AI or whatever, well, what can AI not replace? A lot of skill sets. It can't replace this. It can't replace human connection. It can't replace big relationships. It can't replace making investment decisions. It can't replace scaling a business. It can't. It can give you ideas. It can't do what human beings can do. So instead of just learning these little skills like how to hammer a nail, bad idea, but you know what I mean, hammer a nail, are things that are going to actually become obsolete and useless, get your skills up. Now is your opportunity before, it all crashes, doom and gloom. Okay, then take your money that you have now, get some coaching, get some mentorship, go to masterminds, get to events, meet some people, shake some hands, kiss some babies, whatever. Politicians, right? Like, you just need to get all of that correct so that if something, heaven forbid, does happen, you have the relationships, you have the skills, you're irreplaceable, people need you.
People get so paralyzed in fear because they don't want to upset the other person. And so they hold on to that, exactly what you said, because how do I talk to that person? Put aside, they may get upset. You're fighting for their life. You learn a lot from 23 to 35.
A different person.
Multiple times, a different person. Yeah. And I look back at timing and I'm like, holy shit.
Right. So let's say someone's out there listening to us right now, and they have their third or fourth location of something, or they've got that 4 million or 12 million or 20 million in revenue, whatever that number is, and they're thinking, you know what, I do want to sell. What should they be thinking about to prepare themselves to package themselves up in order to be able to have a successful exit?
There's a lot to it. I started studying private equity and how to sell a business in 2017, and I actually completed 3 successful minority deals, and I had 2 failed processes before that, before I had my ultimate full exit. And so getting smart and getting hip and getting educated to what that process looks like, there's an immense amount to learn. And then understanding what type of deal you're looking for. Do you want to take some chips off the table but still own the business and have control? Okay, you're not done yet. You want a minority deal. Do you want to take more chips off the table, give up control, maybe even fade into the background, let other people start to work in the business more? That might be more of a majority deal. In order to achieve a full exit, you have to develop a sophisticated business that does not need you to operate.
Right.
And so that's leadership team. It's really people. The primary thing is people. It's a leadership team. And then it's totally professionalizing the business. A lot of entrepreneurs have a hard time moving from mom and pops, owner, founder, entrepreneur driven to a professionalized company. And that was the process of the last few years that I owned the business, that I did with my minority partner. When I sold the business, I had stepped down as the active day-to-day CEO to executive chairman, which meant I didn't do much. I went to board meetings and answered the phone for the new CEO when he had a question. And that business continued to operate seamlessly, and not only operate, but continue to grow without me being present. And so that created the security in the buyer for a total sale. Had that business needed me in the day-to-day, I'd still be there.
Right.
Ask yourself truthfully, your big goals and dreams, are you really clear on there? You know how mandatory it is to be clear and specific on what you want, right? But the next step is this: can you get laser obsessively focused almost to exclusivity, almost, but for an extended period of time? Can you honestly say you've done that for an extended period? I'm talking about year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, even in a decade, towards something you want so badly. You want like action, you want like you want to eat, you want like you want to live, right? So are you extended laser focus on it, or you get distracted easily? Our obsession becomes our possession, but we won't possess them if we're not truly obsessed.
Learn business from all angles and learn how to learn.
Learn how to learn.
Learn how to learn. As I became successful, there was jealousy, there was envy, there were knives and backs, there were throats getting slit. I mean, they were like, it was really, really painful that people that I loved and I wanted to be successful.
Right.
And in fact, I probably wanted them to be more successful than they ever wanted to be for themselves. And one day I realized, like, I'm the guy that doesn't get invited to the barbecues on the weekends anymore because I'm up here and they chose to stay here.
Right.
That was their choice. And joining these groups, you just meet other like-minded people that are on the same path, the same journey. These are your peers. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have a tough time because they come from their own life and their own ecosystem, and they change and people around them don't change, and then eventually they realize, shit, I can't take these people with me where I'm going. This isn't a fun exercise. It goes wrong for a lot of us. I think most successful entrepreneurs have some of those stories of painful relationships as a result of success. And so in these rooms, you find the camaraderie of a bunch of people that have been through the same things, that are on the same mission, that are like-minded. I've never been heartbroken like I have been from people that I loved.
We believe, we stand in faith, but nothing is changing. Nothing feels any different. Still dark outside. This is what faith is all about. You can't see it, but you've had to know you've passed midnight. Yes, it's still dark outside, but the sun is on its way up. I'm also sure you heard people talk about wishing they had more money to pay the bills or to take vacation, just to take a little bit pressure out of life. But before their lifestyle can change, their wish need to become a desire. If they really desire change, they wouldn't spend their evenings watching TVs and wishing they were doing something better. The backbone of an ego desire to change is discipline. True ambition is